Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the Vicki design team, and today's project started with an idea and I love how this turned out. It's filled with stuff. You can call it more is more and less did not exist on that day. So my idea starts with a page from the pre-made mixed media paper pad. I have this one and it's one of my favorite things in Vicki's collections. They're an easy way to get a project done in no time. So this is pretty much what's going to happen with this project. So my idea is I want to create a layer of papers behind a picture and keep it together with a clip. I don't have the clips, but I'm going to play and give it the idea or the illusion on this page. So I have a photo of my mom's birthday. I think it's like 5 or 7 years ago. And those are my two kids, the teenagers, and my niece and nephew. So all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add layers of paper behind it so that it looks like all messy, held by the bow clip. That's the idea. So I pulled one of the 4x6 paper cards, from the papers. I'm gonna use papers from the 6x8. I chose that purple because it's really soft and it's a very nice contrast with the background. I'm gonna also pull the 6x8. I think it's dots and dashes paper, the small version 6x8, and I'm just going to make sure that my picture is straight and that the layers behind it are crooked. Like I said, think of it as a pile of papers being held together by a bow clip. That's the idea for this layout. So now that I have pretty much my layers like cemented the idea, I know that I'm going to add ephemera. I want something that's really large so that it looks that it's hanging along with the papers. So I went into the ephemera and found these florals, and I thought there was quite a bit of color, and like I said, think of it as this layout as more is more and less did not exist. The best way to put it. So now that I have my layers ready, I'm going to go and add a little bit of mixed media. I want to add a little bit of shine to the page. I'm not going to add much more than that. So it's going to take no time. I am going to pull one of the stencils, and this one comes in the set that has the florals. So it looks like little arches. I don't know how you call them. So I'm using gold glaze for this. So you're going to see that I'm going to kind of create an S shape on the background. So I'm starting by applying a little bit of the gold glaze through the stencil using my palette knife. Once I apply a little bit, I'm not going to cover the entire area, just a little bit. I'm going to come in with my stencil brush just to soften the edges. I want to have a bit of texture that kind of fades into the background. So I want to have that raised section and then just something that just dies down. And I'm going to repeat the same application towards the center, like to the bottom, the center bottom half of the page. Again, small sections. I don't want much. I don't want it to overtake the page. I just want a little pop of shine behind it. So now here is where I'm actually going to come in with one of the stamps. In one of the stamps there's this little splatter design, so I want to use that to stamp some of the gold. So first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of water to the leftover gold glaze that I have there, just so that it's liquid, and then I'm going to come in with the stamp, just dab it into that, I'm going to say it's kind of thick watercolor, and then just use it to stamp the splatters onto my page. I'm going to make sure that I add them around the corners of the gold application. Super simple. It actually has the shape of splatters, and it's liquid enough not to leave that much texture, so it just leaves a little bit of the texture at the edges, which I don't mind, but it just looks like literally gold splatters on my page. Simple as that. My background is ready. So now it's going to come all about building my layers. So when I printed the picture, I printed it without a frame. We should have printed with a white frame, and I didn't do it because I want to add a little bit of dimension behind it. I am framing my picture with a piece of foundation paper. You're gonna see that I have a stamp on the background, and I use a lot of foundation paper when I color flowers for other design teams. So sometimes some of those flowers don't make it onto my projects, so I keep the foundation paper and I'm gonna use it to frame my picture and also as a layer behind the picture so that it gives it some dimension without giving me a lot of bulk. So again, once I do that, I'm gonna attach it to my 4x6 card that I cut from one of the papers, and then I'm gonna make sure that the picture and that card are completely symmetrical, but not symmetrical, but linear. They are parallel. And I'm gonna attach the book clip with a little bit of foam adhesive to the 4x6 card. Here's what's gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm gonna make sure that my picture is the one that's straight, and I'm gonna move the layers behind it so that it looks, again, think of it as a few sheets of paper just messy being held by the book clip. So the purple one, you're gonna see that I'm gonna tilt it a little bit towards the right, and then the polka dot one I'm gonna tilt a little bit to the left. So not tons. I don't want it to even look like, you know, like it's all messy. No, I just want that little bit of subtle movement in the layers. I'm gonna keep it together by adding a little bit of tape underneath the center. You're gonna see that I'm gonna slowly kind of fold the edges, just give it a little bit of, like with my fingers, I kind of fold it a bit just to create that movement. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of foam adhesive behind the corners of the layers. That's just gonna kind of create that movement, give the idea of dimension without adding the bulk. Now to glue this onto my page, I had to be careful. I used a T-ruler because I wanted to make sure that my picture was straight and that the layers read as messy layers. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna play a little bit more, because it's one thing when you build the layers outside of the layout, and another one when you actually build the layers on the layout. So you're gonna have to be like, you know, play a little bit more with it. Now that I'm happy with it, I am gonna use my ruler to make sure that the photo is straight, and then I'm just gonna glue it in place. And like I said before, I'm gonna add a little bit of foam adhesive just at the corners of the paper, just to give that image, that illusion of dimension without adding the bulk. Here's what I'm gonna start decorating. I'm bringing the large floral ephemera from the Icon ephemera, and I really love the colors. My family's wearing all different colors, so I thought, you know what, might as well bring a rainbow onto the page. So I want to make sure, like I said before, that it looks as if the flowers are intertwining the papers and cascading down. And already, I know there's plenty already there. I'm not gonna add much more. So I went into the ephemera, and this is the one that's the journaling one, and there was a title that says right here, and then I went into the chipboard, and there was a little title that says "We're like a little gang." So I knew that was gonna be part of my title. So you're gonna see right now, I'm gonna bring that, and right here is I'm gonna place it right underneath the bottom of the last layer of paper. That's just gonna become kind of my title. The "We Are Like a Little Gang" is gonna be kind of my subtitle. And then to add this, I'm gonna actually use the alpha stickers from the collection. So you're gonna see right now, I'm just playing with some pieces of ephemera. I'm gonna bring some tabs just to bring, like, you know, some interest onto the top right corner of my picture. I had a little piece of you see right now, it's kind of a piece of memory decks that comes in the ephemera, and I had used part of it, so I'm just gonna kind of put it underneath the photo just to give me that extra layer. I'm gonna bring a few more pieces from the ephemera just to bring more interest onto the picture. I don't want to overload it. Like I said, there's a lot already going in the page. Not my typical type of layout, but I love it. I actually love the fact that there's a lot of color. There's like bold things on the page, and there's a bold background, because if you know my style, I use a lot of white, simple space. So you're gonna see, took it off camera, added the pieces that I was telling you about. I'm gonna bring some of the chipboard florals, just because I need to bring something to the left of that little piece of ephemera that I added to the bottom of the picture. So I'm gonna add some of the chipboard florals there, and also because it has that gold foil. And I'm also adding another chipboard heart to the little tab on the top right corner of my picture. And I'm gonna add a few more of those gold dots that come in the sticker sheet to the bottom of my title. So that kind of creates my triangle of shine in the page. I added a little butterfly at the top because I just needed something that brings some of the black and white that's in the title to the top of my layout. And then just to finish that, I'm actually gonna add some lines of journal right underneath my title. And then the last thing I think I added here is I'm gonna add the lines of journal at the bottom. And I added a little sticker I went into the tablet the sticker tablet, there was a little circle that reads today, and I'm just gonna add that to the top right corner of my picture. There's a lot of white space there, and I think it needs something just to make it, like, you know, pop, because I have to make sure that my eye goes throughout the page, and everything is focused at the bottom, so I need to bring something at the top to just make it, like, you know, balance everything. And I love how this turned out. Like I said, more is more. Less did not exist on this layout, but I love it, and I hope you try it. As always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to jump onto the blog to check more details. As always, it's a pleasure. Take care, guys.